So I looked up, why is the Breakfast Club coming to me? So I looked up, the word made an impression on me. Because I'm like, why would the Breakfast Club come to me? So I looked it up. Because I'm like, why would the Breakfast Club come to me? So I looked it up. This movie from the 80s. Oh, of course. That makes sense why the Breakfast Club would come to me. And these people, these kids, why. Okay, I hope we have signal here, but anyway, it seems to have trouble there. So anyway, I did struggle with in the beginning a lot, of course, if you're type 1 or the mother or the dad of a type 1 child, you know the struggle. And so this is my 3rd year of being diagnosed as type 1. So yeah, it was definitely a struggle. So anyway, I had this idea that we could have a breakfast club, a type 1 breakfast club, but all are welcome, right? Because you might even have a best friend, like your bestie is type 1, your girlfriend is type 1, your boyfriend is type 1, your nephew, your auntie, your uncle, whoever, somebody in your family, somebody you care about is type 1. And it is unfortunately becoming more prevalent, the type 1. Type 2s, there's lots of type 2s out there. Hello, fellow comrades. But type 1, and I'll get some stats for you too. I'm totally unprepared. I just literally came up with this idea 30 minutes ago. And so type 1 is definitely dear to my heart. So welcome to the type 1 Breakfast Club. So what we're going to do today, and because we're having it seems we're having a signal issue here. If I put it down, if I put the phone down over there where I had planned, it's not connecting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something different. It seems to be okay here, but I don't know. I know yesterday I tried a stream and it seemed to be going out. I thought, well, maybe I just need to update my phone. But here. So we're going to have, guess what we're going to have? I was going to have some else last night, but then the darn thing, I woke up this morning, the crock pot didn't work. So no, I put in a different plug and it's working now. But anyway, that was going to be my breakfast. And I just put in some broth and some extra meat that I had and like broth and whatever, put it in there. So it's going to be kind of a soup, right? And I like broth. I like having soup. Like sometimes it kind of switches it up. Like some of you might know that I'm carnivore. I've been carnivore for 3 years. I decided to be carnivore at the first, like when I immediately got diagnosed as type 2, which they were very wrong. I decided not to take the insulin and I went on the carnivore diet immediately because I heard of these people like Sean Baker, Carrie Mann. Carrie Mann was the first person that I remember seeing that came up on my feed, and this guy kept coming on, about this carnivore diet, right? And of course, since I have this kinship with depression, figuring out how to help people with depression, I've had this deep desire to help people with depression for ever since I was a kid. I always like to help people laugh, right, and smile. And so when Carrie Mann popped up, and that was one of his things too, dealing with depression and many other things too. But ended up losing a ton of weight and became quite an influence on the world, right? And also his family, his beautiful wife and triplets. And then I also heard about Sean Baker, Dr. Kielce, and Dr. Ken Berry. And so that was surprisingly just like right after, like I went to the doctor waiting for my results, right? And the results came back and I decided right then and there to become carnivore, right? And it's quite interesting because I was a vegetarian for probably about 17 years was a vegetarian. And so I would eat some eggs and spinach. So I had spinach. I didn't really, whenever I bought like carrots and stuff like that, I would waste them. I end up wasting them. Sometimes I'd eat them, but the most easiest way for me to eat my greens was I bought tons of supplements and I ate oxalates. I ate spinach. So spinach was huge in my diet. And what else do I want to tell you? I just want to cook breakfast, right? So I ate a lot of spinach and no fat, right? Because I was taught, just don't eat fat, and so I ate fat. I ate no fat. So I got very slim. I was very, very slim on the vegetarian diet. But looking back, I know that it was affecting my mental health. It was definitely affecting my mental health. And yeah, lots of things. But we'll learn about all these things as we go along. The carnivore diet, when I first began the carnivore diet, I remember I was house sitting and I was only there for like 3 weeks because they went somewhere for 3 weeks. And so my job was to take care of their dog and the house, right, for 3 weeks. I was very ill and I was very ill. My body definitely clearly needed insulin, and I'm trying to keep this roof over my head, and my life was completely destabilizing quickly. I went to bed every night and dreamed like the whole night. It was like that was probably about, by that time it was about the 4th month of with type 1, right? But the body still was creating insulin, right? But I needed insulin. The doctor was right. He told me I was type 2, but he was wrong. So my body immediately, within those 3 months, my body started to release the oxalates. My eyes, and it's never happened again. It only happened within the first 3 weeks of carnivore, where I had massive oxalate dumping in the eyes, like coming out of the eyes. So crystals coming out of the eyes, and it's never happened again. So that's probably all the years of spinach and the nuts that I ate, like almonds, and I was really big into cashews. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. But anyway, so I've had this idea of having the breakfast club. Thank you for joining us. And so today, before I get out the door, we're gonna have some eggs. I was gonna have this other thing that's in the crock pot right now, but it'll be ready when I cut back in the afternoon, and I can have that for my second meal of the day. I usually only have just 2 meals a day, and I like to quit eating after 3. Sometimes I might need to have a little something later. It really depends on what's going on in my life. It really depends, right? But I do like, routine is very, very important to me, and then sometimes I like to test the body and just like, in the gym, when you pick up a different weight, you want to build your muscle. Well, so you pick up a different weight, do something different, right? Well, so that's what I also like to do with my body too, do something different. So, fasting, maybe not eating, eating a little bit later in one time. So maybe I'll do something different so that the body will learn a different pattern. And so it will explore a different method of healing, right? I'm not saying this is not a message of you do you. I'm just telling you what I do. So this is not medical advice. It never, ever has been on this channel, and it never will be medical advice. So I'm just telling you what my experience is. So I rapidly went down to 84 pounds. So my friend said to me, and her daughter was 11. I think I said I was 84 pounds. She said that's lighter than my 11-year-old daughter. So I was lighter than an 11-year-old, right? So as we go along, I'm going to show you these pictures and show you, the transformation in my body. So, it is with intention. I wear this. I'm wearing my shorts now, but this is what I look like now. But my biceps were literally about this big. My biceps, right? So now they're so I'm about 130 pounds now, and I'm quite satisfied with that. I'd like a little bit more muscle, but whatever. I'm very happy to be this size and healthy, right? So would anybody know that I was, diabetic? Maybe not, unless they studied my behaviors and watched me inject my insulin and all that. People probably would not know because I'm quite healthy, right? Besides the fact of creating no insulin. So I like to cook in, this is KitchenAid, and this is ceramic. I really like the way ceramic, I do like, what's it called? Cast iron too, but I also really, really love the way this cooks the food, the KitchenAid. So let me go grab the eggs and then we're gonna wrap this up. All right, I'm gonna have some eggs so that you can join in and we'll just start cooking some eggs. Okay. So I buy a flat, like I buy these are from my butcher. So they get them from the Hutterites. So, okay, so I like to cook with, so I like to put the eggs on just underneath medium. So it's like maybe about a 3. So this is pork fat. I'm gonna have to get some more, but this is pork fat. Oh. Oh, I had to turn on the right burner. All right. So it depends on I don't know what you want to say hello and tell us where you're from and what are you having for breakfast. So these are our farm eggs from the Hutterites. And it really depends on, like, the amount that I eat is going to depend on what I'm doing for how long and where I am and all of that. So today I'm going to eat, let's see, I'll have 6 eggs this morning. It's quite an art. And as you get to know your body as a type 1, then you'll have to find your own rhythm. Okay, so then you'll have to find your own rhythm and based on how much activity you're doing and how much stress you're on and all of that. But anyway, I gotta. So what I do is I just put a little water in the top of the lid, and then I put it on low, so it's gonna take a while to cook, and then just have the eggs. So I removed the bread, rice, and pasta, like, I guess now 18, maybe about 18 years ago, the red bread, rice, and pasta, because I realized that it helped the autoimmune disease that I kicked its ass years ago, just by taking out the bread, rice, and pasta. And while I saw other people experiencing this disease, absolute horrendous consequences because they kept eating the bread, rice, and pasta, right? And I realized, I remember I tried to tell them online, but then I was immediately attacked, right, by whatever. So I'm telling you, if you have any kind of autoimmune disease, try something different. Maybe it's the food that you're eating. Maybe it's, the amount that you're eating. Maybe you might want to, instead of having 10 pieces of bread in a day, maybe you just have one. Maybe you're just going to have half a piece of bread or something like that. Maybe just cut it down and see if your symptoms change. I mean, I don't know. You're going to have to work with your health professional, someone that you trust, and find a different way of eating. Maybe you might have to fire your doctor and get a new doctor, right, who will support you in how you want to eat. But yeah, these are great because it's nature's multivitamin, right? This is nature's multivitamin, and it's gonna keep you satiated and strong for several hours, right? So for me, let's see where I'm like, I'm gonna have to, I already put in some insulin, a pre-bolus a couple hours ago, and I did a bit of a workout, did some weights, some lifting, and then I'm here. So I'm just gonna eat these, and then I'm gonna have a little bit more insulin after. So in the morning when I wake up, about 5 a.m., that's when I presently am taking my long-lasting insulin. But sometimes I'll switch it up and then, just do something differently so that my body gets to do something different. Like I said, if you're having like if you lift weights, that if you do this, what happens when you do the same thing all the time, right? Are you going to stall? Are you going to, what's going to happen in your performance if you do the same thing all the time, right? That if you're an athlete, if you lift weights, you work out, what you need to do. If you don't, just do something different. Ask a professional and get a personal trainer, to help you. Oh, I better. Okay, so I like. I have to turn it up. I like my eggs basted, right? So I like the film on the top, and I like them a little bit runny, like not runny, thick. I like the yolk to be like thick, as like you pour it. It's like thick. Yum yum. And that's all. That's all for today. So I'll wait for these to be done, and then we can check this out. So step in, say hello, let us know where you're from. Do you have type 1 diabetes? Do you have type 2 diabetes? Do you have a sister, an auntie, an uncle, or grandma that has diabetes? Let's chat. Okay, so there we go. So for 6 eggs. 6 eggs will hold me over definitely for several hours, 4 or 5 hours, and then I'll have my second meal and stop eating at 3. So like I said, if I do need, like before I go to bed or something, then I know that I won't usually have to give myself any more insulin. My long lasting at this stage will carry, like if I just have a couple eggs, then that'll help me help stabilize my body, like as I sleep. I don't usually like to eat before bed, and I don't need to, right? It really depends on what's going on in my life. Like if I'm having if my routine has been switched up, or I'm moving through a lot of stress, and I've got to do things differently, then my eating patterns do change, right? Sometimes I just have to, because of whatever's going on in my life. And but generally, if I can keep a routine, I like that, right? And like I said, of course, if I want to switch it up on purpose to flex my body, right? Like you do a flex to help your body out, learn a different pattern so that it can be stronger, right? Oh, those are looking good. Those are looking good. Here, let's see. Can you see that? So it's just forming that white thing on the top there. And it'll be ready soon. So I just cook it really slow, right? I remember when I've always eaten a lot of eggs. I used to make this, like fried egg and put cheese on top, and maybe cut up some onion, put it on top, and cilantro and all that thing, and then steam it, baste it, right? I've done that lots in my life, just eggs, because I just love eggs. They're perfect. They're perfect, you know, like what meal aren't they good for? Yeah, that's that. So step inside, tell your friends, let them know we're doing the Type 1 Breakfast Club, right? So we can meet here every day. I'm going to figure out the time. Yeah, figure out the time that is suitable for my schedule. And then we're going to stick with that. I like to do the same thing, same time. Then it's just easier for everybody, right? And then we all know we're meeting for the Breakfast Club at this time. But today is just the first get up and go. So I didn't want to just wait. I just want to get it done, right? Do it instead of, procrastinating, right? Let's do it tomorrow. No, it doesn't work. Anyway, okay, they're almost done. So, thank you for joining us. I'm going to eat my eggs here soon. Remember, we are doing the Breakfast Club every day now, and we'll figure out the time soon. This is just my brand new idea, and that's that. Yeah, so tell your friends if they're struggling, if they have diabetes and they need a support system. I know I did, like as a type 1 especially. There's not a lot that there are many YouTubers out there that are type 1, right? But we all gravitate towards somebody for a specific reason, and we all that's just the way it is. That's just energy, right? And so I encourage you, if you are type 1 or type 2, find somebody on the net that you gravitate towards, right? And you're going to stick with, you can hang out together, you can go on, each other's shows, and because it really does, make a difference. If you're struggling with type 1 and you're by yourself, that really sucks. It's because it's a incredibly volatile disease. It can be, it will kick your ass if you do not take control of your life, and don't give up, because it's very easy to give up. Trust me, I've wanted to die, and not taking my insulin was a suicide attempt several times a couple of years ago, because I was like, fuck this is bullshit. I wanted to die. Anyway, than to live with the bullshit of type 1. But however, I'm going into it with a positive mind, because I don't want to die. I realized when I went to very serious DKA, and it was a few times in the same summer. It was a long story, and I can tell you about it someday. But yeah, I nearly died. Serious DKA. Okay, so... Oh, they're getting too done. I don't like them when they're done. I mean, they're still good, but I don't like hard boiled, but they're still good. It's not my favorite. So I really love French white. See the French white? There we go. And I like to have my salt. So because you're I'm type 1, and like I'm always going pee, right? So I'm always losing electrolytes, right? And so I really like to make sure I get my electrolytes. And this is a Himalayan salt. I'm going to try some different salts here soon. And then get some, I want to get element electrolytes too. I want to try them again. I did try them when I first was diagnosed as type 2. I was relying on, I did buy some element at the time, but so I have not since. Yeah, when the body has no insulin, let me tell you a story. I went for a walk with my 93-year-old, I think she was 93, something like that, auntie, and I could barely keep up with her. I could barely keep up with my 93-year-old. I think she was 93 years old. I could barely keep up with her because my body had no insulin. So I remember like I had to hang on to her. Like we went for an hour and I was exhausted and I was scrawny. And the thing is, my brain was deteriorating so much at that time. It's just not funny at all. I didn't really realize how skinny I was getting. Like my brain, and this is what I want to tell you, the importance of insulin in your body. The incredible learning that I learned by not having insulin in my body was priceless. Priceless, I will tell you again. Having no insulin in the body, and I am a living proof, and you can see the fuckery in my YouTube videos, how fucking insane I got. Okay? And now that I know the power of the carnivore diet and how it literally changed my brain composition, my thought, it was just absolutely incredible. Okay? So the power of insulin on the body, and we'll talk about this more as we're in the breakfast club here, how powerful it is. And I'm just a baby. I don't know anything. I've only been studying, on my own body for 3 years. But never, ever underestimate the power of insulin on the body. Never. So I remember standing there struggling to keep up with my 93-year-old auntie, my blood auntie, my birth mother's sister. Very wonderful, very, very beautiful woman. Strong. Like she doesn't anymore, but she, at that time, she was still doing her gardening and everything, like just a real go-getter, right? So, thank you for joining the Breakfast Club. Like, share. And tell somebody, right? Please like and share this, comment, and tell somebody that you love. That there's this girl here, like she's talking about type 1, like maybe she could help you out. You can hang out. Yeah, there is support out there, because if you are struggling with diabetes, it's not easy. I mean, I can't say about type 2. but really it's the same. Like what the effects of diabetes, whether you have insulin, you inject insulin or not, you're still going to have the same results, right? If you eat too much, if you eat the wrong things, we both experience the same things. The only difference is my pancreas is in a pen, 2 pens. Okay, your pancreas is in your body if you're type 2. I'm a type 1. I've got to carry on my pancreas, right? Because I don't have an apparatus that gives me insulin. I'm considering that soon, but right now I just have a lot of shit going on in my life. I just moved into my new condo, so thank you for blessing me in my new home, and where I can have a constant routine, and I can do things more consistently now. It was a little bit more difficult because when you're sharing space with other people, it's a little bit, the scenarios are a little bit different. So tell your friends about the type 1 breakfast club. So do I miss bread, rice, and pasta? No. I ditched them like 17 years ago. About that, I have to do the math. But so when I heard about the carnivore diet, I'm like, well, that makes total sense because I quit. Like, I'm like, well, what are bread, rice, and pasta? They're plants. They're plants, right? Like, that totally makes sense. So ditch the plants. Maybe they are. And like, of course, if people are talking about it, I'm like, well, why not? Why don't I try this, right? And why not eat in a way that is suitable for the body, right? Like when I eat other than the carnivore diet, I go through living fucking hell, right? Like I was saying in a video the other day, when you eat like some type 1s, they're always eating like carbs, they're eating sugar, and they're proud of it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not judging you, but I just think, like, how the hell can you do that? How on earth can you remain sane when you're eating that way? I still love you. I send lots of love to you, and I just don't. I can't. Like, and every day, people are doing these things, but a lot of them have their more experience than me. They've got like 10 years under their belt, so there's a lot of scenarios there, right? But anyway, I just don't want to deal with that. I've got enough shit to deal with, right? And when you eat in it differently as a type 1, like say you have like a piece of pie or cookie or whatever, then you always have results, right? You always have something that you have to take care of now. Now you're going to be peeing all the time. Emma, is there going to be a bathroom? Is it going to be close at hand? What's gonna happen now? Like, because there's always a consequence, right? Just like when you lift, if you whatever, you smoke crack or you fucking have a drink or 10 drinks, like, is there consequences? Right? Well, there's no difference from a type 1. Like, if you literally, and death, right? How many type 1s do you know that actually died because they, I heard from a client the other day. I'm like, oh, we talking about type 1. It's like, yeah, well, my cousin, and a few people in her family had type 1, and I said, well, what happened? And he said he died. I said, why? He drank too much, right? Which I can understand. I don't condone it, but I mean, if you have type 1, like, I think that the chances of having an addiction could be, if you don't have support or something happens and you just happen to get into that frame of mind where you're addicted to something, it could really do a number on you, and you could give up, right? Which means dying because of alcohol, right? The choice to do alcohol. Very real, right? Anyway, I'm going to end this now, and I hope you have a great day. Remember, we'll see you tomorrow for Type 1 Breakfast Club. Thanks for watching.